So it is currently August 26th. I am filming this video a little bit early just because I have some things happening during the weekends. I'm trying to like pre-film, whatever, you guys don't care. Starbucks released their fall menu. I went and got my first pumpkin chai of the season. It's so good. It's just as good as I remembered. And I'm just so happy. I might have to get another one of these later because I got this like an hour ago. And I'm a sipper. I don't chug my drinks. I'm a sipper. This is when you know it's a good drink. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Liz, and in today's video we are going to be doing some fall recommendations. I try to do this every year. I have a fall for every season. I try to release some new recommendations. So I've done these videos in the past. You can go look at my channel if you want to see some past videos. I still recommend all those same books as really great fall books because I'm a huge mood reader, and so anytime I read a book I want to kind of like put it in a season. I picture it in a certain season and then it kind of helps me be fully immersed in the story. I don't know. That's just how my brain works. I tried to pick out some newer books to put in my fall recommendations, so hopefully there's no repeats from last year. I tried my best to give you guys some new books to look forward to, so hopefully I accomplished that in today's video. I have not gotten my fall decorations yet. I'm planning on decorating on September 1st, so I'm a little bit before all the fall decor goes up. But since Starbucks has their fall menu, I feel like I can film this video because I feel the fall vibes. Also, it's like 70 degrees today. It feels so amazing outside. I just want to sit outside and read, and that's probably what I'm gonna do after I finish filming this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start recommending some fall books for you guys. A lot of the books that I usually read in the fall are mystery thrillers and fantasy. I do read some romance books, but majority is gonna be fantasy or mystery thrillers. So that is majority of what I'm gonna be recommending today, because that's what I personally read. We're gonna start with the mystery thrillers because that is like the core time that I feel like I consume a lot of mystery thrillers. So the first one I want to talk about, I actually read this in a fall vlog last fall, and that is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This author, I really loved her writing style because it's very fast-paced. I feel like it's very similar to Natalie D. Richards or Vincent Ralph. They all have very similar writing styles to where I feel like I just get pulled in really quickly, and it's so fast-paced, very quick chapters that I don't feel like I necessarily have to think too hard. Like, I'm just along for the ride. This story follows a teenage girl who wakes up on the side of the street. She's covered in blood and bruises and cuts, and she has no memory of how she got here. She gets brought into the police station, and while she's there, they're trying to figure out her identity. A man shows up claiming she's his daughter. The story kind of goes from there. While you're getting her perspective, you're also getting a whole nother POV of a teenage boy who is looking for his missing girlfriend. So you're getting back and forth her chapters of her trying to figure out and like piece together her history, her past, and then at the same time you're getting this young teenage boy's chapters where he is like the prime suspect in her missing case. It was kind of predictable. Like, I kind of predicted the ending pretty early on, but I feel like if you're just in it for the fall vibes, this is the perfect book because it does take place out in the woods. Like, she and this man who says is her father are out in this cabin in the woods, and so like it just kind of felt like fall. It felt like I was going camping, and I really enjoyed it. It was very high stakes. I felt like my heart was pumping towards the end, especially. Highly recommend this one if you just want a very fast-paced thriller. In that same reading vlog, I read You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. I have not read too much by this author, but I really want to give more of her books a shot because I really do enjoy her writing style. This story follows a girl who is going to this Airbnb kind of out in the middle of nowhere as like a detox from reality. She's like on vacation by herself. When she gets there, the man who owns and runs this Airbnb also is there, and he's also staying in the Airbnb, which I found kind of interesting and also kind of strange. He takes care of this whole property. It's almost like a farm, I think. And very quickly, they start to strike up a bond. They start to have an attraction towards each other. However, things start to turn kind of sinister whenever she has no cell service. There is a missing woman in town, and just things are starting to feel a little strange and weird. This one I had a really fun time with. I did think it was also kind of on the more predictable side. However, it still had a few twists and turns that I was not expecting. And if you're like me, I also really love to read YA mystery thrillers because I feel like those are the more fast-paced. It's just more intense when it's a teenager going through these things. A book that I read this past fall was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I know that this is a part of series. I only read the first one, but I do think that this is like the perfect fall book. It takes place at this academy that is like out in the woods. It's very elite. It's very hard to get into this academy. What's really interesting about this academy is that I want to say like 20 years prior, something like that, a woman and her baby went missing, and there was a note left behind by Truly Devious. And so this has been a case that has gone unsolved all of these years. Our main character in this one, she comes to this academy and her goal is to try to solve this unsolved case. Things start happening around this campus and it seems like Truly Devious is back. This is a really great dark academia vibe of a book. If you enjoy like YA mysteries, then I think this is gonna be right up your alley. And the last like mystery thriller, this one leans more in horror than anything. That is The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. I read this past year and I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big horror fan, but I actually really enjoyed this one. The reason why I don't love horror is because of the amount of gore. It kind of seems unnecessary sometimes. But in this one, I felt like it was done tastefully. It wasn't to the point where I was like, okay, you're just throwing this in there for no reason. You're just throwing it in for the ick factor. But this one, it actually made sense. This story follows a group of friends who, when they were teenagers, they were camping out in the woods and they discovered this staircase that's perfectly intact in the middle of the woods. One of the friends climbs up it and does not come back. And so it is many years later. All of the friends are adults now. They've all gone in different directions. And one of the friends brings them all back together to try to figure out what happened to their friend and where he went. This was a really fun ride. It does go back and forth between past and present timelines. So you're getting to figure out what happened in the past when they went on this camping trip. And then also in the future, trying to figure out how they're going to figure out what's going on. I thought this was really fascinating and a really interesting story and an interesting take on this conspiracy theory. If you're like me and you love conspiracy theories, then you probably know about the staircases in the woods. Like, this is an actual phenomenon that has happened around the world. I was really intrigued by this book and I feel like it was just done really well. Next up, I'm going to talk about one romance book that I really enjoyed and I think is perfect for the fall season, and that is Phantom Heart by Kelly Cray. I read this last year and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was a surprising read for me. Like, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. This is a retake or a reimagining of Phantom of the Opera. So if you're familiar with that, that is kind of the vibe of this book. Our main character, her and her sister and her father move into this really old house in this brand new town. While they're there, their father is trying to renovate this really large estate, and these two girls are obviously brand new to this town, trying to make new friends. While they're there though, the younger sister comes to her older sister and says, "I keep seeing a man in my closet." I'm sorry. If I heard my younger sibling tell me there's a person in my closet, that would freak me out. I would be like, okay, we're moving. Like, I'm not dealing with any of this like paranormal crap. I'm not about it. But our main character goes and investigates, does not find anything, obviously, and moves on with her life. Well, you also are getting chapters from, what's his name? You're also getting chapters from a character named Eric, and he is this ghost or this apparition that is in this mansion that the younger sister is seeing. Our main character, she starts to have dreams about Eric and they're having conversations and she's starting to have feelings for him, while at the same time there's a new boy at her school named Lucas who is obsessed with all things paranormal, and when he hears that she moves into this house, he obviously wants to investigate it. So you're having a lot of different things going on at the same time, but it gave me like that spooky feeling. Like, when I started reading this book, I got a little spooked. Like, I got a little spooked, and that's hard for me in books. I feel like you have to like hit me at the right time. It has to be like nighttime if I'm reading it. Something about this book just feels like a chilly fall night. I loved every second of it. And now we're gonna get into some fantasy books. Now, this is what I mainly read in the fall time, so I'm so excited to talk about these. The first one I talk about is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. I love every single book that this author has written. All of her books are YA fantasy standalones. So if you're wanting just a good fantasy story and it's not like super long and it's also not a huge series, then her books are for you. She gives you just the right amount of world building and character development to where I feel satisfied by the end of these stories. This story follows a 17-year-old named Rin, and she is running her family's graveyard. In this world though, there are these things called bone houses, and basically if a person is buried out in these woods, there's this magic that is underneath the soil. If they're buried out there, then they turn into these bone houses, which kind of thinking like zombies essentially, and these bone houses typically stay in the woods. However, one day one comes into town and starts wreaking havoc. People are being killed, everything's being destroyed, and our main character needs to figure out what is going on so she can save her family's graveyard. Meanwhile, an apprentice map maker named Ellis comes into town. He is interested in journeying out to this magical water basin that's out in the woods, and he takes Rin along with him, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with these bone houses, what's wrong with the magic. I really enjoyed this book. It was so sweet and fast-paced, and I feel like I loved it from start to finish. It was the perfect fall read. Next, we're going to talk about A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I read this past spring and I thoroughly enjoyed enjoyed it. I'm planning on reading the second book this upcoming fall, but this book honestly was the perfect like gothic dark academia book that you could possibly want in the fall. Our main character, she goes to this college, and basically in this world, it's kind of part like historical fiction, historical fantasy. Women are not very respected. She's at this college for architecture. However, she wants to be in the literature college, but no women are allowed in the literature college. She has this favorite author, and this huge opportunity comes up where a student can go out to his manor and help redesign his entire manor for his family. When she gets out there though, she runs into a literature college student who is actually out there for different motives. He is there because he's trying to prove that her favorite author was a fraud. Very different motives, very different goals for being at this manor, but they have to work together to achieve a specific goal. I really loved this story. I feel like it was also very mysterious because our main character is an unreliable narrator. She takes this medicine for these hallucinations that she's had all of her life. So the whole time you're trying to figure out what is real and what is not real. And I felt like that added a layer of mystery and suspense to the story that I wasn't expecting. The next story I'm going to talk about is The Dagger in the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I read this last fall and I really enjoyed it. I haven't heard many people talking about this story, but I feel like more people should. This story starts off with our main character's mother being murdered right in front of her, and she is on the run and seeks sanctuary from this group of people in the town called the Cloaks. The way this town works is there's the Cloaks and there's the Daggers. The Cloaks are thieves, the Daggers are assassins, and they are at war. Our main character seeks refuge with the Cloaks and becomes one of these thieves. Meanwhile, she is being hunted by an assassin from the Daggers. It is very much enemies to lovers. I loved this story. It's dual POV, so you're getting to see both characters and what's going on in their two separate groups and how that looks in this town. There's also this mystery going on with people going missing that's happening at the same time. I just really enjoyed this story. I thought it was really fun and fast paced. I do believe there's gonna be another book. I'm not sure when the second book comes out, but I do need to look that up because I definitely will be reading it. Next up, we have a book that I read this past summer, and that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I think this is honestly the perfect fall book. It is following 3 different women in 3 different time periods, and it is following along on their journey as vampires. Our main character, Alice, in the present timeline, she goes to a house party at her college. She ends up going home with a stranger. They have a one-night stand. She wakes up the next morning and she is a vampire. While this is all going on, while she is trying to figure out how she got here, what happened last night that turned her into a vampire, you're also getting flashbacks into the past, and you're getting a young woman in like the 1500s, and you're slowly going through her journey as well as being a vampire, and then you slowly get the third woman's perspective as well. And it was just done so seamlessly. I feel like all their timelines, the way they all merged and collided and the way they all connected was just done really well. It very much reminded me of Amelia Hart's books, so Wayward or Sirens, if you've read either of those. I feel like it very much was similar and kind of fit the same vibe as both of those. This story, honestly, it's not necessarily a love story. It's more so about hunger and what it's like to want something that you can't necessarily have. Definitely would recommend it. And also the audiobook is fabulous. Every single character has a different accent in the audiobook, and I feel like that's just really brought the characters to life for me. And the final book I'm going to be talking about is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I gave this book 5 stars this past spring. Absolutely loved the story. I love all of her books, and this one did not disappoint. If you are a big fan of gothic fantasy, then you should definitely try out Rachel Gillig's books. They are the perfect gothic fantasy, and I think gothic fantasy is perfect for fall. That is like the only time I would want to read gothic fantasy, or maybe the winter time. This story follows our main character Sybil, who is what's known as a diviner. Her job in this world is she will drown, and then she will have these intense dreams that show different symbols, and she can interpret what these different symbols mean for people. And she's essentially a fortune teller. Like, she kind of helps people know whether or not they're gonna have a fulfilled and profitable life. Her whole life she has grown up in this cathedral, and she has been drowning and dreaming and doing all that for people who come to this cathedral. A new king then comes into town with his knights, and he is asking her to dream for him, and she meets a knight with his group who does not believe in any of this, and it kind of shakes her world up. It kind of turns her whole world upside down. And when the 5 other diviners start to go missing, she takes it upon herself to go on an adventure with this knight to discover where they went and what happened to them. This story is just one full of self-discovery, her trying to figure out what she believes in and what she doesn't believe in. It was just such a beautiful story. I don't know, from start to finish, she was just very relatable, because if you were put in her position where you've spent your whole life believing in this thing and being told that this is the way things are, and then someone comes in and just throws it all upside down, I feel like many people would react the same way she did. I just really enjoyed her story. I loved her character growth, and I loved her relationship with this knight. There's also a lot of found family in here, and I feel like the adventure was just one that I just could not get enough of. I devoured this book like within 24 hours. And that is going to be it for my fall recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully this gave you some really great recommendations for this upcoming season. I personally really enjoyed all of these, and I feel like they're all perfect for fall. If you're like me and you're already figuring out your fall TBR, please comment down below. What books are you going to be reading this fall? Because I'm genuinely curious. I loved seeing other people's TBRs and what books that they're excited for, because I just love adding books to my TBR, which I know is bad. I need to stop. I have too many books, I know, but I just love seeing what other people are reading for each season. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have gone and gotten a fall drink from Starbucks by now, because by the time I post this video, it's gonna be a few weeks since that fall menu came out. So you better go treat yourself because you deserve it. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.